The Sniper Elite games have always sort of had a novelty attached to them, and that's in the form of the X-ray kill cam when you hit off a killing blow and the whole game slows down and follows your bullet as it basically penetrates a gruesome looking skeleton and organs. And while that's here and actually enhanced quite a bit, the core gameplay of the previous games always left a little bit to be, I guess, desired, or sort of, it was never as good as it could have been. Here though, Sniper Elite 4 not only offers a really cool sniping game, but it also offers massive expansive levels as well as multiple paths to take on every single one of them. And it culminates in a game that kind of feels like it's had a past, but also it's a past that's always been moving towards where it inevitably is now. And that means Sniper Elite 4 is easily the game you feel like developers Rebellion have always wanted to make, and the result is one of the finest open area type games I've played in a long time. And the beginning sort of stems from that Hitman model that released last year, which was sort of looked at in a weird way, and then as the episodes went on, people started to understand what IO were doing and fell in love with the game. And I sort of get that feeling here with Sniper Elite 4. Now there is a narrative thread, the story's interesting enough actually, the dialogue is fine. It's set in Italy, which creates lovely locales actually, despite it being World War II, and it's all about killing people, but each level has a distinct personality, and that's sort of what I felt like was lacking from Sniper Elite 3, which to me felt very, I don't know, monotonal I guess in a lot of ways, but here it feels unique. Each level feels different, and the approaches and ways you can take on anything is different. And it sort of also encapsulates sort of what I love about sort of these types of games, which is replayability. And there's a lot of ways to replay any one level, whether it be to perfect it, or kill every enemy, or do every side objective, or sort of just roam around. And the levels here in Sniper Elite 4 are huge. They're I think it was stated in a PR that it's 3 times the size of any other level from Sniper Elite 3, and it feels that way. Each level you can easily spend more than an hour in, and the game features 8 levels, but you sort of feel like, well, at least for me, I easily want to go back into a few levels as soon as I finish them and say, oh, wonder what happened if I went over here, or could I get a better vantage point if I found it, or I found something like that to help me. And I was like, next time I'll do that. And that sort of permeates through all the levels to the point where it became so much less about the story and became more about trying things differently every single time. And with levels that are about an hour long, you can easily see how much playtime you can get from this game. And there's also a leveling system, and as you hit certain levels, you unlock perks that sort of enhance the gameplay in some ways. Every weapon has upgradables through doing certain kills or creating certain objectives from the weapon, using the weapon. And sort of it all just comes together to be a really great game that keeps you like chasing the next thing. And on top of that, the campaign alone, you can play alone, or you can play with someone else, and bringing a second person into it changes everything up dramatically, because it's not only you that can screw up easily, but also someone else. So you could be pulling off the perfect scout and tag all the enemies and approach everything just right, and your friend over there can go in guns blazing and screw everything up, and that alone is quite funny and enjoyable. And if 2 isn't enough, there is a survival mode which is actually really cool, but it's up to 4 players. So you can quickly see how mayhem can absolutely ensue. And Sniper Elite 4 is one of the funnest games I've ever played, and what it's finally done is gotten past its own, I don't know, ghost in the sense that it's always been a novelty for that kill cam, and I've spent the last few minutes not even mentioning it, and it's like the core of this series that everyone knows about it. And the kill cam is the X-ray cam is still gruesome and gory and brilliant. It's been enhanced. It shows shrapnel going through the bodies now. There's more detail. You can stab. There's more organs to hit. And it's just, and I guess shooting people in the testicles never get old, but there's so much more to this game than you may have ever known about this series, and it's finally gotten to the extent where the gameplay itself is deserving of you to play it besides the sniper. And the actual feel of the player, of you being Carl, feels a lot better than in previous iterations. It isn't perfect, but it's still pretty good. And as you can see from the footage here, this is a PC. It looks really nice, and I don't have the newest of systems, so it runs really well. And yeah, it's just such an enjoyable game that I just want to keep going back to and sort of pulling off the next best snipe or the next best stealth mission, or setting down traps and luring people into them. And there's just so many different ways to approach every single level, and each level feels unique, that I just couldn't get enough of the game.